Reviews. Really, this stuff is really awesome.
Throw this in the garbage.
Oh, super versatile and one of my favorite trucks of all time.
Just in case you're wondering, I am driving pretty badly on purpose.
Yeah, it just bends in half. It's garbage. Come on, wouldn't you trust this face?
Good afternoon, fellas. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about something new. Well, not really new, but new to me. I've never done drifting. Or, at least I've never owned my own drifter. I've driven one or two here and there. But I decided to pull the trigger and get a drifter. So, what I decided on after recommendations from friends and fans, well, let's just say I went with the 3 Racing Sakura D3 counter steer sport drifter. It's pretty cool. So far, I like it a lot. The kit only cost $110 shipped. Wasn't a bad price at all. It came with no body, no electronics. It came with these really neat spark drift tires. You can see the small pieces of metal embedded in the tire, so as the tires spin, it makes sparks. It's pretty neat. Apart from that, it seems to be a typical belt drive on-road car setup, if that's even a thing. I don't know, I'm kind of just winging it here. I've never had an on-road car before. This is my first experience with on-road and with drift cars. This is a front motor mount. You can see motor mounts all the way up front in front of your front shock posts. I went with the Atomic 10.5 turn brushless motor, sensored brushless setup with the 120 amp ESC. I decided to go with the Savix servo. The servo does 0.07 seconds for rotation, so it's a pretty fast servo to keep up with the counter steer maneuvers to be able to drift well. And I just use my receivers that I have laying around so I can continue to use everything off the same radio. And then I went with a 5,000 milliamp 2-cell 20 discharge Venom LiPo battery. So decent power. It was a lot of fun to get out there and drift. There are a few comments I can make, particularly about the build. I mean, I come from rock crawling and those types of build kits. This kit was a completely different animal, especially with this belt drive setup. The belt drive for me, first time through was a little challenging to build it, but I'm sure it'll get easier the more experience I have with it. These come with both the front and rear differentials are locked completely. It comes with a lot of plastic parts. There was 2 upgrades that I was recommended by friends that I make right off the bat, as well as one that I found on a forum. The first one we're going to talk about is your front one-way differential. Now the front one-way, it has a one-way bearing in it, which allows when you're moving forward, all 4 wheels spin constantly, giving you your drive and your push. Now when you let off the throttle, your front wheels will continue to rotate as if they're freewheeling. What that does is it makes the car act like as soon as you let off the throttle, you pulled the e-brake, so the back end wants to come around almost instantaneously. It's very challenging to drive. Since it is a counter steer, the gearing ratio, I don't know the numbers right off the top of my head, but I did a little test when I first put it together. The front tires turn slower than the rear tires, so it's geared in a way that your rear is going to outdrive the front, which again will also help get you into that slide to drift around corners and in tight spots. So far, I've driven this one full pack through it, which You know, that 5500 milliamp pack on this setup gave me about an hour of runtime, which is just completely insane. I've never had what I consider a go fast car last that long on a single battery charge. So yeah, I mean, that's in a nutshell. You've got motor in the front, belt drive, lock differentials, lots of plastic parts. Yeah, so far I think 3 Racing came up with a really good drift platform. Other than that, I haven't made any real modifications other than the body mount and the rear bumper. Now let me show you this. Your D3 kit is going to come with this rear diffuser. It mounts to the back end, and if you have a longer body that will allow you to cover this, the diffuser will work great. Give it a nice look, a really cool feel for your cars. Unfortunately, I went with this Lancia Delta Killer Body HF, or Lancia Delta HF Killer Body which is really short, and the diffuser stuck way out the back end. Now, knowing my lack of experience with drifting, I decided to crank out my 3D printer and make a few modifications. The first one you can see on the body posts. I don't like to look at body posts poking through my body, especially on something that looks this scale and realism. So what I did was I designed a bracket to hold some heavy duty Velcro. I used a 12 by 2 millimeter screw, shortened the body posts to where they needed to be, made it so that it can sit flat or up to a 30-degree angle. That way, if your body is sloped like the back of mine is, you can still get good adhesion on the Velcro. So what these do in the front and the rear allows me to just slap my body on real quick. I'm good to go. If I need to get in to work on my electronics or anything, it's really easy. Just grab it and kind of work it off, and there we go. You'll see in the video that I did of my poor driving skills with me spinning around and running into stuff, the body stayed securely attached. So the Velcro system is awesome for ease of use, ease of access, and for a good realistic look. I really liked it. Alright, so the next dilemma I had, without the diffuser, I had about 3 inches of space between the back of my body and the back of the car. Now I didn't want to leave that hanging wide open, so if I spin around or my 6-year-old is driving his car and decides to run in my back, that it breaks the body real bad. So I designed a rear sub bumper, and then I 3D printed it. Check that out. It mounts up right in the stock position with all the stock hardware. Though initial tests, looks like I'm going to have to beef it up a little bit. As you can see, this is what it looks like beforehand. After one solid run and bumping into curbs and whatnot, you can see I've broken both the ears off. However, the rest of it has remained completely solid. So I'll probably just have to thicken up the top and the bottom a little bit and modify the design. But that's what my solution was for fixing my rear bumper, and put some holes in the bottom of it to allow for bolting on custom tailpipes and whatnot if you want to further the scale look. So once this is done being hashed out, this will be a product that's available through Spare Time Hobbies, sold at the RC Addict web store. So keep an eye out for that. If you're interested, it'll be there shortly. So overall, drifting, it's a lot of fun. I didn't realize how fast you actually burn through the tires. Check this out. These rear tires, let me pull one off for you real quick, just so you can see the difference. These rear tires have about an hour of runtime on them, and they have drastically worn down. I mean, it's kind of crazy how quickly these things wear out. So, if you look on the inside of the rim, see how much black tire is left versus the outside of the rim. I went through those pretty darn quick. I think I'm going to be lucky if I get 2 hours of runtime per set of tires. So I guess I'm going to have to get on eBay or I don't know, wherever it is you buy drift tires at, and buy a ton of drift tires if I plan on getting out there and getting good with this counter steer drifter. So that's in a nutshell your Sakura D3 counters to your drifter. If you want to get there, I mean, you notice there's a lot of plastic parts here. A lot of the main frame bulkheads are plastic, which, you know, it seems sturdy. I have no qualms about it breaking, but 3 Racing does make a full line of upgrade aluminum parts for this, which, you know, if you can upgrade till your heart's content. I think that the entire, if I remember right, the entire aluminum upgrade package for this was an extra $100, I believe. So overall, for a fully upgraded Sakura D3, it's not bad at all. So if you have never done drifting before, you like building kits, and you don't want a stock body that just comes pre-painted, go with the D3. Pick out your body, pick out your electronics, set it up, and drive the heck out of it. It's a lot of fun. Perhaps someday I'll get to a real drift circuit and get a chance to test out my skills. So, in a nutshell, that's the D3. Again, quick disclaimer, this is my first on-road car ever, first belt drive car ever, and first real drifter. Not to mention, slightly different than that old CC01 Perugio that I made, and kind of Frankensteined it into a drifter just for fun. So if you want a drifter, pick one up. I like it.